how to do 4th of July right. Well, we're going to break it down for you here in this next episode of Sideline Sports Podcast. Welcome to Sideline Sports Podcast. I am the host, Alex Naveja, and if you're not on the sideline, it's not Sideline Sports Podcast. Welcome to another edition of Sideline Sports Podcast. I'm the host, Alex Naveja, and of course, if you're not on the sideline, it's not Sideline Sports Podcast. As you can tell, a little bit of a different venue today, as we're actually going to take a break on the sports this week because of it being 4th of July weekend. We want to have a different special edition for Sideline Sports Podcast and talk a little bit about what to do for this 4th of July being 2020 and of course COVID-19 going on right now. And with me today is a special guest with us is Jonathan Rifkind. How you doing, Jonathan?
Oh, I was doing okay, but then I got the call, Alex. I'm on the podcast, and now I could say I probably couldn't be better.
Well, Jonathan, it's an absolute pleasure to have you on the podcast and to talk about this topic with you because, I mean, even before we even got into this, I didn't really realize how much of an interesting topic this was going to be and how hard it's going to be for many people because 4th of July being such a big holiday, and now, you know, it's not going to be exactly the same experience, but, I mean, it's going to be very different this year.
Yeah, it's going to be, you know, everybody was talking about when the beaches were opening up here in Los Angeles, said, okay, at least we'll have a semblance of 4th of July back, but of course, with the resurgence of cases in Los Angeles, LA County decided to close all the beaches, so now the one thing that a lot of people, I think, were banking on being a consistent part of their 4th of July routine is now taken away. So that adds another layer of, okay, so how do we artificially create some patriotism in a time when we're, number one, unsure of the direction of our country already, and all of the ways that we could celebrate are now taken away from us?
Absolutely, Jonathan. And you know what? To get things started, straight to go into it, Jonathan, what do you usually do on 4th of July? Let's talk about last year. What is it that your family does? Let's say no pandemic, no COVID-19 going on right now. What do you guys do?
I'm going to say that, unfortunately, I actually haven't spent the 4th of July with my family for about 5 years.
Really?
Because I'm typically broadcasting baseball over the summer. And I typically have games to call, right? I know that we're taking sort of a sidestep off the sport here, but 4th of July, for me, is a semblance of baseball, right? And I remember the first year I ever called baseball in the summer, I actually had my biggest on-air screw-up on the 4th of July. So 4th of July for me is both a day of anxiety and a lot of fun just from that aspect of just being out in the ballpark and broadcasting baseball. But, you know, going back since the beginning with my family, you know, it's just a day to step back and appreciate where you are, right? I think that, you know, we get lost in the hustle and bustle. We talk about how the United States is a continuously evolving society, which is what we're seeing right now, and how we sort of get lost in everything. But it's also good at times to take a step back and appreciate, yeah, it's not perfect by any means, but a lot has to get done, especially now, especially with the movements being mobilized to affect change. But, you know, there's 220 countries in the world, and 130 of them aren't democracies or aren't pure democracies. And so I think it's just a time to take a step back and appreciate the silver lining in being in America.
No, that's very true right there, Jonathan. And I mean, I'm so shocked. I know you didn't get to see my reaction, but I was in absolute shock. The fact that you've never gotten to really spend the 4th of July with your family because it's just been so shocking. And you know what? That's a lot of good hustle. The grind is really real for you, Jonathan. The fact that you're broadcasting on 4th of July's, and you know how it goes. There's always Major League Baseball games on 4th of July, starting from like 8 a.m. here on the West Coast time, 11 a.m. over there on the East Coast time. It's usually always like a Washington Nationals game that's going on like at 8 a.m. first thing in the morning. So it shows a lot of grinding, a lot of hard work on your part, Jonathan. But you know what? I really hope that you can actually get to somewhat spend a 4th of July with your family despite everything what's going on right now. With
Yeah,
the
my sister is actually here, so my family's sort of separate. My brother lives in Washington D.C. and my mom is out in west of where I live in LA. So my sister and I have some plans. She has her own thing going on, but I'll have family around, and that's what matters. I also think that family is really important, but you can extend your family to the people that are meaningful for you. And I know that in coronavirus times, you're not really supposed to do that. But, if you have a roommate and one friend who's in quarantining, I think you can get by with maybe a social distance, mask on face, 4th of July with, quote, family. So that's what I'm planning on doing. It's not going to be the same as my immediate family, but at least I'll still be with people that I appreciate and want to spend that time with.
Absolutely, Jonathan. I don't know about you, but now I want to get down to like the nitty gritty of what it means to really have like a 4th of July. I don't know about you, Jonathan, but when I think 4th of July, I usually think about I need to ask that family member, whoever has a pool or whatever, and really get into the pool. Only because I'm very accustomed to having 4th of July here in my place and having
you
the
big
pool.
swimmer, Alex?
Yeah, we actually have a pool here, so I'm just so accustomed every year, family coming over, we take a dip into the pool and, having a big old barbecue and spending time with the family. And then once the sun goes down, then that's when we actually do last minute fireworks shopping over at the stands.
Oh, very cool. So are you certified then? If I brought over a firework, could I trust you to light it up for me?
Well, I mean, I usually go to the TNT stands. I never really go to Phantom fireworks. I usually go to the TNT little stands that are here. But I mean, I think everyone is certified for those.
Yeah, I'm not much of a fireworks. I love fireworks. Outside of Disneyland, I'm not a big Disneyland guy. So, but actually, I will say this. One of my favorite 4th of July stories out in Malibu. They have the hills. In Malibu, Pacific Palisades, Santa Monica area, they have all the Santa Monica mountains. And if you go up there, actually, on the 4th of July, and I think they're doing it this year, all along PCH, they have boats with fireworks displays, and they're actually, throughout the night, they're shooting off fireworks. So that actually is one of my favorite things within Los Angeles, one of the best events on 4th of July.
Hey, that's pretty interesting. I mean, I never really even thought about that. I mean, going up on a hill or going up on a mountain and just see the fireworks from a distance from from the city of LA, and just being able to see everybody else's firework display and enjoying it there. And plus, it's free. You don't have to pay for the fireworks.
Exactly. And you get a beautiful view, and there's not a lot of, there's some traffic depending on where you go. But yeah, I mean, that's probably a solid tradition. What about you? So you guys go swimming. You're a big pool guy. What other, you guys, the beanie bag toss? I forgot what it's called. It has a different name everywhere. You guys do that? What's the beanie bag toss game that a lot of people play?
Oh, I know what you're talking about. I don't know what it's called though, but usually
you guys don't do that?
No, we don't. We actually don't do that. But I just know that no one in my family has a pool except for us. So everyone's always like, "Oh, 4th of July, come over to the Naveca household and let's go swimming."
You guys charge per head like $5 for the day pass?
You know what? We actually wanted to do that because of it being so hot early on in the summer and even like in May, because I feel like it's been hotter in May than June. We're joking around with family members. Hey, you guys can bring your kids over. We'll charge $5 a person. You guys can provide food and make a little profit on the side, right?
You guys will have a little kid area for the kids to play while the adults do the adult things. Yeah, man, that's a good business plan right there. I think it's a little limited based on the season, but I don't know. Who knows? Maybe you open up for Easter and you open up for Christmas. You could have a little holiday pool party going on in your community.
For Christmas, it's free. It's gonna be freezing, and we're still gonna have people coming over to swim.
You're talking about South LA. This isn't Washington.
But you know what? To go along with the swimming too, though, Jonathan, I believe the ideal 4th of July has to include a barbecue. You name it. Bacon wrapped hot dogs, you name it, burgers. I'm talking like double doubles, even triples. triple doubles, you name it, just having big old stacks of patties. That's what I always think that you gotta have on 4th of July, just barbecues, and that's what I always think of. I don't know about you, Jonathan, but I feel like that's a part of it too. Like, you just have to barbecue on the day of 4th of July.
I'm a big griller, and I'm very picky with how people cook my hamburgers. So I do my best to be the griller on 4th of July if I'm able to do it, if I have a place to do it, because nobody makes a meaner double. Well, In-N-Out makes a meaner double than me. After In-N-Out, you got me. So I'm curious. Do you grill, Alex? I feel like you can make a mean burger or hot dog.
Well, you know what? I'll be honest. I have never really grilled myself, but my dad is actually doing some renovations here in the backyard. He's trying to put in a built-in barbecue himself here in the backyard. So I really want to shadow him, and I really want to learn how to do that. So once that's done, expect me to be coming here, and I think we should have a little bit of a cook-off, Jonathan. I think we should have the viewers see it and be the judge of it, just visualizing it and see who can make the better burger. What do you think, Jonathan?
I'm with it, man. You set it up. You have the pool, so I think I'm coming over, right?
Hey, I might have to charge you $5 though if you come by.
Hey, I isn't that my fee for being on the podcast anyway? So it goes back in your pocket.
Oh, okay. I'll give it back to you. For coming on the podcast. I'll refund you those $5.
You know, it's just nothing. But I get the friends and family discount at least.
All right, $250. How about that?
All right, I got you for $250. What if I bring? You're 21, right, Alex?
Absolutely. You name it. You are too, right?
All right. Yeah, of course. Oh, I'm way old. I'm not way older. I'm a little older than 20. It's sad. I wish I was still 21. What's your drink? If I bring over like a 6-pack of Pacificos, will that get me into the door?
All right. You're in for free.
All right, I got you on the Pacificos then.
All right, you're good to go there, Jonathan. So, you know what? You name a place, you name the date, you name the time, we'll be there. But after we have that pool time at 4th of July, then we have the grilling time. Now it's time for, sun's starting to go down. Time for some fireworks. I don't know about you. I mean, I know you make your trip, but as far as fireworks are concerned, I know our family usually likes to go to the stands, and I know I usually have like a family member or two that usually has the connections to the fireworks stands. They usually hook us up with like a really good deal for a pretty big assortment there on the TNT store.
That's amazing. Yeah, unfortunately, we don't have any stands.
Yeah, fortunate enough, Jonathan. It is pretty local to me. It's just down the street from me. So, I mean, we light up our fireworks, and then what we do is, 4th of July, you could just see fireworks, you just hear fireworks all over the place, and you just look down your block and you get to see other people's fireworks shows, and it's actually really nice. But you know what, Jonathan? I don't know about you, but you know what I've always wanted to do on 4th of July?
What?
I've always just wanted to go on my roof, just lay there, and then just watch all the fireworks just everywhere, just all angles. I just want to see all over the place. I'm a big pyro guy, that's why. I really enjoy watching fireworks.
Oh, we got a pyromaniac on the podcast. I get it.
Yeah. I'm a huge pyromaniac, and I'm that huge adult that goes to Disneyland and looks forward to the fireworks. So if I'm looking forward to anything, it's not for Mickey Mouse. I'm actually looking forward to the fireworks shows over at night.
That's amazing. Yeah, I think that. You know what? Let me ask you. Where's the best fireworks show you've ever seen?
Wow. Disneyland usually has.
Loaded question, I know.
It's actually really hard. I'm not gonna lie. Disneyland has some really good fireworks. I've seen some fireworks shows here in the city of Norwalk. They usually host some really good fireworks shows. I know La Mirada has some really good fireworks shows as well. I know City of Southgate as well. But you know what, Disneyland, they just do it for me. They have just so many different type of fireworks. I could start doing firework talk, and I think I would lose you right now, Jonathan. It's like me throwing you a change-up when I've just been throwing you nothing but fastballs.
Oh, I couldn't even hit a fastball, so you're striking me out no matter what.
So, there we go.
That's really, yeah, no, I feel that. Definitely, I love the local fireworks shows. I think for me, mine is a little bit further away. When I was 10, I went to Hong Kong, on the 4th of July. And everywhere, the great thing about 4th of July is it's actually celebrated all around the world. Well, not every country, obviously, but when I was little, we used to go on family vacation. So before I started actually working over the summer, I've spent 4th of July in England, in Costa Rica, in Australia, in Hong Kong, in Tokyo. I spent it, in all these different countries. And it's really cool to see the different perspectives in the world on the 4th of July. Like Costa Rica has this massive, when we were on the west coast of Costa Rica, and they have this massive barbecue on the beach, and they have fireworks all over the place. In Hong Kong, they don't do anything, but it's a peninsula, right? It's all islands, and each island has a different boat with a different color, and they shoot off fireworks in succession, and they put on these incredible displays. So I think for me, those are my favorite fireworks shows, are the ones around the world that have something unique to them. It's not necessarily like, just another fireworks show. You see it's an homage to America, but with its own, like the country's own cultural flavor.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting. Like that, you mentioned Hong Kong, and you mentioned other places that are really outside of the United States, and them still doing something pretty big. So to finalize this episode of Sideline Sports Podcast, Jonathan, this year, what do you think is the ideal way of spending 4th of July?
Wake up, shotgun a beer.
I like it already.
In the sun for, stand up and go outside in the sun for 5 minutes, because we're not supposed to go to the beach. You have to pretend like you're you got a little sunburn. You turn on the grill, you call the squad, you get them over. If you guys need a pool, you go to Alexander Neveja's house. That sounds like mine. And then it begins, right? You're drinking, you're playing music, you're just with the people, and then like you said, whatever's meaningful to you. I think that's what matters. The people, we're so lost in the world of what's going on right now that we forget we're individuals too. We find meaning within different things, and so I think the drinking and the barbecuing and the fireworks and the being with people and whatever, the celebrating democracy, however you want to celebrate it, just make sure that you're doing it in a way that's meaningful to you. So that for me, I think, is the ideal way of celebrating this 4th of July.
I mean, I think that's a great idea, Jonathan. I think everybody has their own ways of celebrating 4th of July, and you know what? I think that would be the best tip for all of the viewers out there. I think you should celebrate how you feel comfortable celebrating 4th of July, as long as it doesn't include going to the beaches or, unfortunately, even going to the parks, because I heard I was trying to go to the park even myself, and they're even closing down the park. So if you're looking into doing that, I would probably step away from the park for this weekend. A little tough there, but I mean, ultimately, what I would suggest to all of the viewers out there is, at the end of the day, enjoy and appreciate the friends and the family that are there for you during these tough times of COVID-19, and just throughout the whole entire injustices that are going on. I just think that we just need to remember the independence, the American independence that we've been celebrating for years and years and years, and will continue to celebrate years to come. And you know what? As long as you guys have barbecuing, then you guys are okay. If you got someone that has a pool, I definitely say get in the pool, because I heard it's going to be like 86 degrees here in SoCal. And of course, enjoy the firework displays, because I know a lot of people put in some good money on those firework displays. And you know what? There's no better way to enjoy 4th of July than enjoying it with the people that matter to you the most, the barbecuing, and of course, fireworks show at night.
Couldn't agree more, Alex. And if you're going to be me, let me rephrase this. Alex, when you wake up on 4th of July morning and you see me in your pool, don't be surprised.
I'm going to say, Jonathan, you came a little earlier than what I expected, but all right, cool. I'll take it.
Amazing. If I can be there, I'm there.
Absolutely, Jonathan. But that's all the time we have left here on Sideline Sports Podcast. We thank you all so much for tuning in. And if you like this episode of Sideline Sports Podcast, I know it's not sports related. We decided to go with the 4th of July theme, especially with it being this weekend, give it a thumbs up. Also, subscribe to the channel because we're going to start throwing you guys some curveballs, some change-ups, and see if you guys can swing for the fences on them as well. Starting to change things up here on the podcast. And, of course, thank you so much to Jonathan, play-by-play broadcaster. You guys can always catch him on Twitter. I'll make sure to put his Twitter handle down in the description below so you guys can stay up to date with what Jonathan has going on, not only on 4th of July, and unfortunately with no sports or anything, he's going to get to enjoy the holidays, the holiday season, but he's also going to get to enjoy the summer. And again, thank you so much to Jonathan Rifkind for coming into the show.
Thank you so much for having me, Alex. This is a real treat, and I really, really appreciate it. And, who knows? Maybe I'll get you on my show someday when your schedule clears up a little bit.
Hey, I'm only one text message away, Jonathan. Like you said, don't be surprised if I see you in my pool. Don't be surprised if you see me like around your place. Be like, hey man, where's the podcast at?
You always have a spot, bro. You know that.
I appreciate that, Jonathan, and you know exactly where your spot is for the Sideline Sports Podcast as well.
Couldn't be more appreciative. Thanks, Alex.
And of course, if you're not on the sideline, it's not Sideline Sports Podcast. Have a good one, everybody. And of course, make sure to stay safe and have a happy 4th of July.